So, guys, today we got to talk about this game, and I've been tagged in this so many times. I've been tagged in this. I've been tagged in the post about that NCAA March Madness reporter who said she was scared to go to Iowa. Man, this has been kind of a crazy day. A crazy, crazy day, but I'll have videos up. I just have been extremely busy. So, that's all I'm going to say. I've been extremely, extremely busy over the last couple of hours, hence why you guys haven't seen much. But if you guys did not see, right here, the Fever Brazil game came to 1.3 million viewers. 1.3 million viewers to a exhibition game. Not even a preseason game. An exhibition game. An exhibition game. An exhibition game. They came to an exhibition game. Or say they came to watch an exhibition game. That was a 60-point game, and Caitlyn Clark checked out at the end of the third quarter. And it averaged 1.3 million viewers, which is absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. And, like, it is... I mean this is great for women's sports. It's great for the Fever. And if you've looked at anything from the Brazil team, they were absolutely nothing but class the entire time. They were so happy to be able to play that game. They were so happy to be able to play in front of that crowd. They were probably so happy playing in front of a million people. I didn't care they lost by 60. They were just happy to be able to play against that team, which was unbelievable for them. And, like, again, in my video yesterday, people that just don't understand basketball. When I posted a video, I was like, the Brazil tried to bully Caitlyn Clark. It was like, they were nothing but class. And it's like, if you've never used basketball terminology for bully 90% of the time in basketball is a positive term. Or even a positive term, it just means be physical. Like, you don't... like, that's one thing that I'm not going to be doing here is teaching people basketball terminology. People are going to try to get offended from basketball terminology. That's one thing I'm not going to be doing here on this channel. I'm talking about this sport as somebody who's played this sport at a pretty decent level, somebody who's coached the sport technically professionally. I'm using basketball terms, and I don't care if people get angry about it. But this was huge. This is just huge, and it just showed how many people were looking for this game, how many people wanted to watch this game. That you had 1.3 million. If I'm not mistaken, outside of the WNBA finals, there were no games on without Caitlyn Clark last year in the WNBA regular season or playoffs that had more viewers than that. That is, I was about to say that's a fact, but I don't know if it's a fact. I'm pretty sure. And again, if I'm wrong, somebody please leave it in the comment section below. I will. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong at the end of the day. And unlike most of the WNBA reporters who say mad stuff and when they get called out for it, won't say anything, sometimes, you know, if I do say anything too mad, if I'm wrong, I will be the first to be completely fine with being wrong. Either way, though, this is massive for the sport. This is massive for the sport. Like, you've it's just such a big thing. Even in Ireland, where I was busy today, I was chatting to somebody, and they were obviously just seeing what I did for a living, and they were seeing, oh, I haven't spoken to them in years. They're like, oh, are you still doing YouTube? Are you still doing the game? And I'm like, oh no, I don't really do that anymore. I just kind of do basketball stuff, mostly over women's basketball. And the first thing they were like first question is, oh, is you mean, or like, oh, Caitlyn Clark's insane. That's the first thing that everyone says. But then it's like talking about how in general in everything, the growth in women's sports, whether it be women's basketball, whether it be the WNBA, whether it be like college sports, whether it be heck women's soccer over in Europe, there is now huge growth in women's sports, and it just showed here. And these are only numbers on ESPN. These are only numbers in America. And I would imagine that there are quite a lot of people that watch this game in Brazil. Again, I could be wrong. I could be absolutely wrong. This could have been watched 100% by people in America. And I know a lot of people be like, oh, but Camila Cardoso played again for the Chicago Sky. More people would have watched it to watch Brazil. Let's be real. Even in Brazil, more people will watch. People will be watching it to watch the Fever. People will be watching the Fever. Just like if, for example, somehow, to be honest, There's probably not even that big of a gap between the Brazil team that played the Fever team and the Irish national team. Maybe. We did lose to France by 100. Although we did nearly beat Latvia, who were pretty decent. But with our full strength team, it's like saying, if we play Caitlyn Clark, it would be on our national TV broadcast. Like, we have our international women's games on it's on a national TV station, but it's in the Irish language, and most people can't speak the Irish language and aren't actively watching this channel. However, if suddenly they were playing against, Iowa, or say not Iowa, Indiana, if suddenly the Irish national team is playing against Caitlyn Clark's team, it would have record viewing for a basketball event ever in Ireland. In a non-basketball country, just because it's that big of an event. And I would say the number of people that watch this all over the world is probably plus 3 mil. No, plus 2 million. 3 mil is definitely shooting it. It's probably plus 2 million. That's all I'm going to say. That is all I would say. I genuinely think that it could be one of the more viewed games worldwide ever. And I'm not going to say most, because, let's be real, the All-Star game, the WNBA pulled in stupid numbers in the 90s, back when it first started, coming off the 1996 women's team that won the Olympics. And the intrigue for that in the first couple of years. But especially from where it was, there's never been a time where the sport is more relevant than it is now. And there's never been a time, again, when you, when you're looking at the new talent in the sport. Heck, I just kept getting tagged in this video. And it's just, I'm looking in for a ranking. It's just some kid from some 16-year-old girl from Oregon putting up 35 and 17 assists and pulling from Caitlyn Clark range just randomly in kids games. And it's like, yeah, there's been lads that have done that. There's been young lads that have done that from a young age. But you're now seeing girls, 18-year-old girls or say 16, 17-year-old girls and 16, 17-year-old lads, as far as the three ball, as far as a lot of things have gone, or as far as the skill is concerned, you're seeing the gap shorten. Obviously, the athleticism will never be there, the dunks will never be there, and the skills are not an equivalent yet. Because obviously, look, you're not looking at, say, Caitlyn Clark. You're not looking at Caitlyn Clark or other players. Caitlyn Clark's the only person pulling from that range. And to be honest, the only people I can see pulling from that range, pulling from freaking Caitlyn Clark range on the regular, are Caitlyn Clark. In the NBA, it's probably Dame, Curry. Jimmer used to do it in college, and Jimmer probably did it wherever he played, but he's retired. And if you go all the way down to NAIA basketball, just some guy named Kevin Clark who pulls from Caitlyn range. And that's all I can think of off the top of my head. That's all I can think of. And yeah, I watch so much basketball that I'm quoting. I'm quoting a dude who plays in the NAIA. But yeah, it's just crazy. And when Caitlyn Clark plays, it's must watch. And I just watching that game, especially from watching the Fever Mystics game, from watching the Sky Brazil game. And I'm not saying that these other players aren't talented, because I don't think the Fever are going to be the best team in the W, although the WNBA thinks they're going to be the 5th best team. That's just disrespect. They're just so much more fun to watch. And it's not just when Caitlyn Clark pulling from 30. It's that any given possession, something good happens. The team moves the ball better. The team moves better. She could throw a full court pass. She could hit from 30. On any given possession, you're on the edge of your seat because something could happen. And the last time I remember watching sports, that is it's the way I used to feel watching basketball as a kid. When I used to go down and watch the Talker Rovers men's team play basketball. And because as a kid, that's all you knew of, because there was no basketball on TV. And seeing some crazy shots that they were hitting that I could never have dreamed of hitting as a 10-year-old. And thinking it was the best thing ever. And it's watching, the only times that I've ever felt like a kid again watching basketball was watching Steph Curry in his prime and watching his current Caitlyn Clark. And there's a reason why, no matter what, I was watching every one of her freaking games. I was watching as many of her games possibly before I was doing this for a living. And the fact is 1.3 million people watching an exhibition game, and the most viewed exhibition game since LeBron's first Lakers game. Madness. She's bigger than the damn NBA.